Shout out to the standouts for making me this, man. Chris Hall and Anton McCray. One of my boys made me this.
Catch you on the rebound.
Catch you on the rebound. We got AJ Washington from the ladder in the place to be. I'm going to make some noise for my boy real quick. Yes, sir, I'm all right, man.
That's what's up.
You just proctored a wedding.
Yeah, man. It was real cool.
Okay.
First time.
How did that come about?
Man, you know what? I'm a strong believer in marriage. So it was one of my friends actually that I used to live across apartments from.
Okay.
And he knew that I was a minister, and we, did some, Bible things together as well. And him and his girlfriend, now wife, they were living together and everything like that, and they wanted to get married. Yeah. And so he came to me. I think he came to me about a couple of weeks ago. He was like, man, you know what? It wouldn't feel right if I had anybody else do this wedding but you. So I was like, that's what's up, man. So
let's go.
We brought it home.
So you had known them their entire relationship?
Pretty much. I mean, they had been together for about 3 years.
Okay.
So we had been living at the apartment for about 2 years. So
Here in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Dallas. Yeah.
All right.
So it's pretty cool, man.
Yep. Originally from Lubbock?
Originally from Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, Raider power, man. Baby.
I tell people all the time, if you go into Lubbock, you still gonna see cotton fields. People like they still growing cotton. Yes. Yeah. They still growing cotton. Yes.
How can they stop?
Bro, my grandmother, she picked cotton.
Right now?
She used to. So it's almost like that lifestyle wasn't far from us.
Okay, one of my guests said this, and this obviously we're gonna go right in.
Yeah,
this is pretty deep rooted. And he was like, we feel like it's beneath us to pick cotton now because of like slavery and the mentality of it, but it's a lot of revenue in picking cotton and farming and stuff like that, but we kind of got away from it because we feel like it's beneath us. How you feel about that?
I mean, you know what? It's definitely a mentality thing, a perspective thing. Yeah. I think at that time, how it was presented.
I can understand that.
A lot of people will say, that was a force, and then what aspired from it. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of families that were separated.
True.
And then you have just a lot of other things that was going on that wasn't supposed to be happening while you're working. I don't mind working.
Yeah.
I don't mind earning an extra dollar.
It's true.
But when you have an attack on my family as well, then we got another story to talk about. So
that's true.
I don't know. It's definitely a different mindset. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the older generation don't think we work as hard as they did.
For sure.
And I don't think we feel like the younger generation coming over is working as hard as we did. So, I mean, it's definitely a perspective thing.
I feel like it's ways to work harder. I just feel like the older generation, no disrespect to them, they feel like manual labor is hard work. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you can work mentally hard and still do difficult work. It's very strenuous.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nah, man, that old set. Nah, I wouldn't even say old. You
can't say old.
Yeah, like just a wiser generation, man. Mm-hmm. I used to, especially in the corporate world.
Okay.
Like if you working hard is you coming in at 6 and leaving at 6 p.m. And if you wasn't doing that to the schedule, it was almost like you wasn't working hard, even if you had nothing to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, everybody's perspective is a little bit different when it comes to working hard, but overall, if you're a result-oriented person, I think that should be the task, or that should be the goal.
So you saying you could work hard and get your work done early.
Oh yeah.
Just sitting there at 6 o'clock is working hard to somebody else. Just punching that clock every day.
I don't know why some people function that way, but other people, some people that's just what they want to see.
Okay. The ladder.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, yo. I just had some of the best, most revealing, transitional moments in my life from being able to have the ladder. Where did this come about? When did you know that you wanted to start the ladder and everything like that? How long had it been in the works?
Man, so I've been in ministry for a long time.
Okay.
I was pretty much born in the church.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't be too shocked if my mom came to me and said, I had you inside the church.
Gotcha. One of those. Okay.
I was one of those.
Okay.
So, I've always had a passion for ministry. Most, my heart is just towards people.
Okay.
But one of the things that I began to start seeing in the ministry is just a huge gap with the millennial generation.
All right.
And it's very imperative for, any type of organization, any corporation, anything to keep, a hand on the millennial generation or just a young, creative type environment so that you can continue on the legacy of anything.
True.
And when I saw that gap in the ministry that I was attending at the time, I was like, we got to do something about it. And literally birthed the ladder out of it. And it was just, I was trying to bridge the wiser generation to the younger generation. Okay. With the whole perspective of, you have the younger kids who parents are dragging them to church. Almost like I have to be here because my mom. I'm gonna spank you when I get home. And then you have the wiser generation who basically come to church, based off of tradition or, they've just really done all things that they've done.
Bible study, they in there every day.
Your mother,
were you in there every day?
Bro, I had no other choice. What was I gonna do? Go home and get a spanking?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I had no other choice.
Really?
But okay. Yeah, man, and I wanted to kind of center in on that millennial type generation, and so I went after the millennial minds, man.
Okay.
I was a young adult pastor, went after the millennial minds and outbirthed the ladder, and then just from that. We were able to just grow from there.
So Adrian asked me, is the ladder specifically for what is the age group for the ladder, or is there one?
There's no age group, and I tell people, age is a mentality.
It is,
but
it really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, but no, there's no age group. Okay. When we were in the ministry, it was primarily targeted towards. The millennial generation. Got it. Now that we've kind of just moved out to kind of Bible studies and things of that nature, we've expanded. So it's to everyone who wants to be a part of it. Okay. But we primarily have millennials in it. Right now, but it's not limited at all.
No limitations.
Yeah, no limitations at all, man.
Got it. How do you feel about For me, when I was younger, when I was going to church, I didn't understand anything that was going on. I just, like you said, my dad made us go. He sat in there. I wasn't paying no attention at all, honestly. You know what I mean? But like you say, having to have been there each day, I feel like within the church, it's a lot of opportunities for kids to figure out who they are. If they don't necessarily want to read or be a part of that, you got the choir. If you don't want to be a part of that, there's something there for you to find yourself. And it don't necessarily even have to be about the church. You may do something in church that you learn a part of yourself that you didn't know. Did the church do that for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I still believe that the church is, despite, all the things that, it have came from or negative experiences that you may hear about. I still think that, there still should be room for church.
What's something that you feel like is negative about the church?
Well, you hear a lot of
things. The tithes and offerings and stuff like that.
I mean, that could be one of them. Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. I mean, but with every profession, and I don't want to give no room for pastors or anybody who have manipulated the system to try to get things from people in any type of way. Yeah. But there's good lawyers and there's bad lawyers. True. It's not gonna stop you from going to a lawyer if you need to. You need one.
That's a good way to put it.
Right, but there's good doctors, there's bad doctors. But when you get sick, you gotta go somewhere. You gotta go somewhere. And I really do believe that everybody got to understand that pastors are the same way. They're good. There are good pastors and there are bad pastors. The Bible even talk about false prophets. So it has already been set in stone that this is what you will. This is something that you're gonna have to fight against. Okay. But when you find that good pastor and when you find that good ministry that you can actually grow your family in, man, it speaks volumes.
It does.
So,
it really does, man. And the ladder, to me, the ladder is, And it's therapeutic. Like it's very therapeutic. Like obviously it's surrounded around Christ and the scripture, but just being able to like hear guys open up and like speak their testimonials. Like, is that what you pictured that it would be?
Man, you know what? I just wanted young people to come together.
Okay.
And then I wanted people to come together and just talk about the real.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So for so long, you know, I think we came into church and we've kind of ignored you know, problems that literally start or it's just continuing on even after we've been prayed for or even after we go to church. And I wanted an atmosphere that just centered around the real. Like, AJ, I go to church every single day. I pray every single day.
Nothing happening.
But I'm still going through this situation. And I wanted to create, I wanted to give knowledge on that. I wanted to tell you, like, there's life still that you need to live. And anything that you may be dealing with or anything that you may fall short of in your life, that doesn't mean that, you know, you are looked at any different from God's eyes. But how can we progress? How can we be better? How can we be able to see, you know, there's life after this pain? And for people to see each other go through those situations, it helps them say, oh, okay, you going through it too? Oh, that's what's up.
Right. It's like, all right, like I could deal with it.
Right, you're right.
Yeah. That was one of the things that like really hit me by surprise. Like just when not everybody is like, not everybody was open enough to really like speak their problems, but as we continue to have it, I feel like more and more guys open up and just share what they going through, and then you like hear some people's stories, and you like, God dang, like all right, what I'm going through is not as bad.
Yeah,
it's not that it's like it's better or worse. It's just like, man, like he survived that.
Right,
like, he's still here. Like he's here right now in good spirits.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like I can survive that too.
Everybody has a story.
Okay.
And I think that story is the healing for another person.
Okay.
And I believe that story for somebody, when you tell it, not only begins a healing process in you that can affirm, you know, where God has delivered you from. Okay. It does begin a healing process in that other person that you're telling your story to. Okay. And it begins a healing process for them. Yeah. And I really do believe that, you know, your story is who you are as a person. And overall, your story has victory attached to it. You just have to believe it.
Regardless of like where you at, regardless of if it's bad right now.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Regardless.
Okay. Do you feel like people go to church to heal?
You know what? I feel like there are so many different reasons why people go to church. Okay. But the primary reason is to heal. Okay. And I think that you know, we've kind of came away from the message of, if you go to church, that's going to solve your problems. Oh, no. And essentially, it's not.
That's not the right reason to go.
It's really not. But a lot of times we think that if I get saved, that's the missing piece.
My problems.
And I won't have to deal with this anymore. Yeah. And for those of you, you know, who haven't really experienced God to that level or really haven't experienced, you know, church at that level, you know, saving is pretty much the starting point for the devil to actually really try to attack you.
As soon as you decide you about to turn your life over, he like, all right.
Because he wants you.
Yep.
He wants you. Why would the enemy mess with one of his soldiers? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The enemy definitely want people who think differently. The enemy definitely want to attack people, you know, of Christ, because if they can make a mockery out of you, the person who's looking at you can say, okay, that's why I don't follow Christ. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that you really have to understand. So, for a person who's looking for healing, you know, definitely go, you know, I would definitely recommend, you know, going to church and getting in touch with, you know, people in the ministry, but then your process began because we definitely want to dig into the very core of you, of why it started, what you need to overcome, and then how you can use it to actually benefit you for your good.
Man, Adrian said she was like, you don't go through things, you grow through things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was like, wow, that was pretty powerful. Yeah.
And you have to even go through things to come up with a mindset like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. You have it's something like you have to live who you aren't to know who you are. You know what I mean? And it's just, if people just like what I feel. If people understood that, like, whatever you're going through in your life,
Right.
like, there's a lesson in it. And it's not meant for you to be like, why is this happening to me? And then to get bitter and angry and try to solve it your way, you know what I mean? To just try to be better about it. Try to just be like, all right, this happening, like, what is this meant for? Like,
Right.
what like, why is this happening in my life? What is he trying to teach me? Like, what is going on? Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had a guy on here who was a Muslim, and like obviously they have similar beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But as a Christian with the other Muslims and the other beliefs, how do you guys see eye to eye? Like, if you guys talk, or if there's like a conversation, is there some controversy about like what he believes and like what you believe? Like, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting question because,
Yeah.
you know, you definitely have so many different type of religions,
Yeah.
you know, that a lot of people have gravitated towards.
Yeah.
One of the things when it comes to the Muslim faith, and I don't really, I really never studied it or never really, you know, kind of just went in deep conversation ever to have it. But, you know, one thing I admire about them is they do a really good job of keeping a brotherhood intact.
They do.
And I think that is very essential, you know, especially for men, period.
Okay.
To actually have, you know, a brotherhood and actually have, you know, that type of guidance.
Okay.
And there's really nothing to try to counteract when it comes to belief or anything.
Yeah.
My foundation or my salvation is just rooted in Jesus Christ.
Gotcha.
And along with that comes, you know, a brotherhood. Along with that comes, you know, the way I represent myself as my own and the way I present myself to my family. Nothing that, you know, that they are saying, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, downplay. But, you know, when you know, explore different things and you kind of understand, you know, where God wants you. Yeah. As far as an individual. Your place. This is definitely somewhere that I find, you know, safety and the truth in. And I think that's very important for everybody to understand. Yeah. It's for you to find safety in the truth that you're in, and always understand that, you know, you are a person who should learn. Yeah. And if you are learning, you are around people who may not agree with you. True. But that does not mean it stops your ability to learn. It's true. So, you know, I could listen to, and what's his name?
What's that?
The prophet.
Farrakhan?
Farrakhan.
Yeah.
I can listen to Farrakhan, man.
Powerful.
And I mean, I remember one of the things he said, you know, on the Breakfast Club. I'm not going to quote it, you know, right, but he was like, a woman tests a man's manhood.
Oh, yeah.
What? I would take
she
that.
Gonna press them buttons.
Right. I would take that to my grave. Like, that's where I got that quote from him, and that's so true. You know, a woman would definitely test your manhood. So, I mean, you know, it's so many different principles. There's so many different things that you can learn. Yeah. And I think you have to be a real close-minded person to try to keep yourself only around a certain individual, of people, or people who are only the same as you. Yeah. I think that really limits your growth if you can only function around
certain type of person in a certain environment.
Yeah.
You heard of the 33% rule?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 33.
Well.
Yeah.
Exactly. What would you say about? Okay, so everybody has like their own God or their own master that they serve. Mm-hmm. What would you say to the people that are like, you know, like, religion is not for me? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, we can't count them out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they out there, they got to live their life, and they got to try to be the best version of themselves as well, just like we do. But, like, whatever their circumstances are, wherever they are in their life, like, they just really believe, like, look, like, they believe in, like, true. Like I see it, it's here, it's in front of my eyes. Like God is like not God is not for me, but like religion is not for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I believe in work. I believe in things that I can actually see,
Right.
manifest. Like, what do you have to say to that?
I think that's the challenge for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, actually believing in something that you cannot see.
Yeah.
In essence, that's what the Bible says faith is. Faith
That's
is the substance
difficult.
of things not seen.
Yep.
Faith is the substance of things, hope for the evidence of things not seen. So,
Got it.
in other words, you know, there's that battle that everybody face, and I think religion have definitely played a part in it, because religion is just it's just an ideal of thoughts that people have structured together
Yeah.
for you to do things in order for you to be considered a certain type of person, holy, for you to be considered saved.
Yeah.
And I do believe that a lot of people are getting away from that
Okay.
mentality.
Okay.
That's why a lot of people are kind of getting away from religion. I'm away from a religion because
Okay.
there's really not a set religion that I
Follow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just wholeheartedly too.
Okay.
I think that when you begin to start developing a relationship, it isolates you from religion, because there's nothing that I can do to be more acceptable to Christ than what he has already accepted me. Now, it's me now accepting what Christ has already accepted from me. And so religion is a very it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people, because people are coming from backgrounds where their family told them, like, where their parents have told you, like, this is who you are going to serve, even when it comes to politics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could be a Republican by default, because this is just the principles and the rules that
Beaten into your head.
just been beaten into your head.
Yeah.
And even though on the inside you feel like there's something different, you know what I'm saying? But you still, just out of a mundane type of structure.
Yeah. What you're around.
Right, what you're around. You just operate a certain way.
Yeah.
And so you feel like, in order for me to be acceptable to Christ, I have to perform this way.
Even though he gonna accept you regardless.
Right. And I think that's the most important part.
Yeah.
But I do really believe that it is important for people to understand that when Christ is after your heart, when Jesus is after your heart, and you feel that on the inside of you to surrender, because it's almost like a permission that Christ is giving you to say, I surrender my life to you, and to not rebel against that, because he wants, overall, there's a relationship spiritually that you're going to want to have.
I love that you said spiritually.
Yeah, spiritually that you want to have. I mean, I understand the mentality, the mental side of things, with mental health, with a lot of things that are going on in that area, the physical side of things, exercise, keeping your body in fit, in shape, everything, eating right. That can even be reading the great things. Yeah. But there's
gotta feed the mind.
Yeah. There's also a spiritual side. Yeah. And if that spiritual side is not tapped into, there's a lot of things about a person that can go missing. Of course. And overall, it will affect your mental side and your physical side if it's not tapped into.
True. I just always feel like death is the best teacher, because it's not until like we lose someone that we realize that like we weren't valuing the time that we had with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like when you talk spirituality, man, like one of the only things, not one of the only things, but one of the most important things that my dad left me with, I vividly remember like him just saying like, read your Bible. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I just constantly asked myself like, why? Mm-hmm. And then I had this point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna just try to get right with God. Mm-hmm. And then he used people to speak to me. Yeah. He used other people to speak through them to me. And then when I started to realize it, when certain things happen, like just being in Dallas, bro, like Dallas is a really big city. Like, it's fast. It's easy to like lose yourself. Right. It's easy to just get caught up in a lifestyle and just be living for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. You guys had already been there. The ladder was there for me the whole time, and it just, for whatever reason, like whatever way I was living my life, like I just wasn't able to see it. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like when I was just like, all right, like I'm just gonna turn my life over to God, like you know what I mean? Like one of the hardest things, was just like me and you spoke about it, like for a man, like sexual desire, I really believe is just the hardest thing that we have to deal with. And when we get in control of that, like now we take the power back from just our lustful nature.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I was able to do that, and like what you told me, as long as you did it for just being celibate, was just like impressive. But like knowing you and knowing your mind, now I see like why you have that power, because you saw it, and only you could change that within yourself. Like you made the decision to do that.
Yeah.
Like for nobody else.
Yeah.
Like not to put it on Instagram, to talk about, like you made that decision yourself. Like, okay, like if this is what the fall of a man, like I'm gonna take this personal responsibility upon myself to control my lustful nature.
Yeah. And
in our society, like when I was young, yo, like people was having sex in like middle school.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. Like I just wasn't into that. Like I was into video games and playing. Like I was just being a kid. You know what I mean? And I fell victim to it about like high school, you know, but like we don't have to. But like you said, like that environment will like clown you, make you feel bad for those things. But like, man, like most people that I've talked to, just successful, just when they really got in control of the things that, whether it's drinking, like whatever it is, when they just decided like, okay, like I'm gonna like put those things on the back burner for this certain period in my life, just for my own purpose, to show myself that I can do it, they were able to go to another level.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to that? And you could kind of like, you could share your story if you want,
definitely,
or
man. I'm an open book, so I don't mind at all, man. You said like a couple of things that I want to run through. So I was like, yeah. But now aside from that, the sex and everything, I mean, I want to take you back to the death when you was talking about death.
Yeah.
And it is an eye awakening for a lot of people.
It takes people down in our
does.
community more so than bring them up.
Yeah. And over the years, man, I tell you, from what I have seen and just being called into rooms, to pray, to help people out in certain situations when they are going through, a loved one that are about to lose their life. And I don't know if you've ever just walked into a room with a lifeless person. It's
in a way.
I mean, that transition period, man, it's real.
Yeah. And
it gets and it's almost like there's nothing you can do to help.
Nothing.
You can pray. You want to, because you love that person based off of the condition of where that person is in. It could be young or old.
Yep.
But spiritually, when you're looking at that, man, there's so many things that go through your head. Sure. And when I was I think it was October September I had lost my grandmother.
I remember.
And that was I had walked in the room in that lifeless situation. Well, it wasn't lifeless, but she was in the middle of going through the transition of deceasing. She was deceasing when I had walked in. Okay. But the only thing I can think of, is just how real God is. It's because, we live so many different stages of life, chasing after things that are just meaningless for so long. Yep. Because we're trying to create a status for ourselves. Yep. Overall, trying to uphold what other people may feel about us. Yep. We're trying to protect that status. We're trying to protect that that image. Yep. To the point where we lose sight of the true meaning of our purpose, or the true meaning of who we are and how we are supposed to function on this earth. And at that moment, when she was laying there, it was almost like none of that mattered. And even if you brought those things up to her, it wouldn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we have to get to that point sooner. Yes. In our lives, when we have everything in our bodies working, then for us to get to that point when we don't have anything working. Got it. And we're just in soul surrenderance to God because we know He's probably the next person we're going to see, or the next spirit being we are going to see. Yeah. And that's to a point when you think about that. That's where that's the goal.
Okay.
It's to die of ourselves, to die of what we think is, the status quo, what we want, every single thing that we feel like we should have, we deserve through the things that we have worked for, in order for God to actually take place in our life. And that is probably one of the hardest things that a person could do, is actually let go of their desires in order for God to completely have control over their life. And that feeds into sexual desires. Okay. That feeds into being whatever plans that you have. That feeds into every single thing that we sometimes feel like we need.
Yep.
And we know over time, I mean, you can get a 15-year-old person right here. You can get a 15-year-old kid in here now. And I was just speaking to one of the CEOs of a medical center in San Angelo. And you can get them in here today, and their needs are completely different from what it would be at the age of 20.
Oh, yeah.
And it's completely different from what it would be at the age of 25, 30, 35, and so on. And when we begin to start understanding, how we are created to function, is getting to who you are as a person as soon as possible.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
That's true.
So that you can understand, and then when you know who you are, then it's easier for a person to tell you to sustain from sex.
Yeah.
For your wife. Or it's easier to tell a person you don't want to go in this direction. Yeah. Because it may hinder your purpose in the long run. It's easier to say that to a person. Yeah. A lot of times we take on things that we do not need because we feel like it is what our body wants, and we feel like that's something that we need at that time. Yeah. And it's really a hindrance. It's really a distraction from our lives. And you get a lot of people, who tells that story, who think, this is what I need. This is something that I need. This is something that I have to,
I have to have it.
I have to have.
A necessity.
Right, a necessity. And I'm not, against, people who have riches, wealth, or anything like that. I'm not against that. Yeah. But I do not want you to lose yourself in that.
Yeah. What does a man profit to gain the world but lose his soul?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very and then that's where you got to understand, especially when it comes to sex and when it comes to other issues like finances and things, because everybody comes from something, and that's why I said, go back to a story. Everybody has a story of something that they are dealing with. They are
trauma.
That they are trying to control. Yeah. And I think it's important for even men to understand, and women, the discipline of who you are, so that you can carry out the person you were created to be versus carry out a person who you are at this stage.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. A guy said it's basically what you said, like real freedom is freedom for yourself. Yeah. From yourself.
Right.
From your own desires.
Right. And that's a process.
Yeah.
That's every day.
That's definitely a process. Yeah. That's hard. Yeah, man,
that's every single day. Every single time you wake up, every day, you are going to have to die off something. A bad thought. Yes. Mentality.
You gotta unlearn it.
You gotta unlearn it.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes.
You have to unlearn it for the rest of your life. And in that, I mean, it does. I mean, in that, beautiful things are birth.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And you really begin to start falling back in love of your true self. Yeah. And you begin to start functioning in the person that you were created to be.
I like how you said that, man. It was like just being an athlete, like you get so much access. You get access to almost like whatever you want, man. Right. And then you get to this point, you have everything that you thought that you needed, and you're like, God, like, how am I not happy?
Right.
Like how is it physically possible for me to not be happy?
A lot of people get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see so many people commit suicide at so many different levels.
Yeah.
So many different levels of life. And I mean, it just lets you know how strong mentally that you cannot buy your way into joy. You cannot buy your way into peace. You cannot buy your way into anything.
Nah.
You really have to search deep.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people begin the journey at later ages in life.
It's never too late though. It's really never too late.
Oh man.
But you could miss, like you said, you could miss something. But it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
And I think that everything that you go through, overall, works for your good.
Serves a purpose.
Yeah, it serves a purpose. Definitely. Everything, even the bad, even the negative thing, even the evil things.
Yeah.
It serves a purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely. And like to go to mental health, like you say, like people come to church to heal, but you're not gonna heal. You're only gonna heal in your mind. Like it starts in your mind.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so big about mental health. Like I was like, man, like what is it gonna take for me to heal from like losing my father? Like I watched my grandmother Medea died, and I was like why is everybody so sad? Like shouldn't we be celebrating her life, like the good that she did? And I just didn't understand it, but I also saw like how deep it hit people emotionally.
Right.
And like I got like 3 life goals, and they don't have nothing to do with money. So I want to be a best man at somebody's wedding. I want to be a godfather to somebody's child, and I want to be a reliable person at a funeral. So if you go to a funeral, if you think about it, almost everybody there is just down and they like sad. Like my dad's funeral, bro, like I cried like the whole time. The entire funeral, AJ, like I just cried because I just felt so much like guilt and regret. And I'm thinking of myself now, like, dang, like why didn't I just get up there and like say something? You know what I mean? Like I went to one of my best friends. I went to his uncle's funeral, and he was toe up. He went up there and like spoke, man, and it just like it brought me to tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it built me up at the same time. So I know we all know that we're gonna lose somebody close to us. You know what I mean? But we also have to know that some people are gonna take it the right way because they know that it's supposed to happen, and then some people are gonna take it the wrong way and they're gonna go down that wrong path.
Yeah.
But if there is a reliable person that's like, dang, well, if somebody lose their parent, a sibling, somebody that's very close to them, they're very close to another person as well. If that other person is dealing with it positively, maybe that person that's just going about it the wrong way will too change their mind and be like, okay, like, all right, there's a purpose in this. Like, now it's my time to step up and just be responsible for whatever reason. Like I looked at my grandfather, like he's sick, and at Thanksgiving, like this is my first time just looking around at the whole family, like, wow, like one day, like I'm gonna be responsible for the family. Yeah. And it like scared me to death, yo. Like it was so, like our family is so big, and I was like one day I'm gonna have to be responsible for everybody, yeah? And that's a privilege. Yeah. That's a privilege to have a family, to be married, and like that's a big privilege. And I just feel like it should be talked about more. Oh yeah. Like that's a big privilege. Like I got my niece now, and it's like my sister, and I'm like, wow, like we are that generation now. Right. It's a funny meme, yo, like this is completely off point, but it's a funny meme that says, now we the drunk uncles and aunts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we are. Yeah. We are. And I was like, dang. We can't come in doing the Dougie or anything like that. You got to come in at us. Oh, if you're doing the old school, you got to come correct. Yeah, you got to man. But at the same time, it's like, it's so beautiful. Because like the things that like we experienced when we was young, like you say, the good and the bad. Right. Now we got the opportunity to be like, okay, I didn't like how that went, but like this is what I want to do. All right. You know what I mean? And good or bad, however it turns out, is gonna be on us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think everybody should look at life like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, you know, you definitely want your life is going to be an example for somebody else and how they're going to live their life. You'll be surprised how many people are watching you. Okay.
when it comes to decisions that they are making.
Okay.
When it comes to different examples that they are choosing to follow.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how many people are actually watching you. And I think when people begin to start understanding that there is so much more life even after your life.
Yeah.
You know, that is going to be lived. And the only way you will be able to have a powerful impact is when somebody can take what you have instilled in them. They can take that and apply it to life as well. So that is definitely a big responsibility because, you know, you're not only carrying the family name, but you're carrying the family's character,
literally,
the family's integrity, the family's, you know, it's just so much that is being built off of what people are looking at and the example that you are trying to set. That's a big life. That's a big light as well too.
It is, man. Yeah, but it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that believe, like, I used to think like getting old would suck. But I realized like things get better as you get older, and you don't understand like you don't understand the experience that comes with age until you get there, until you realize like just like seeing my sister have a daughter. Like, I can't imagine having my own kid. I can't imagine bringing something into the world or like being married. You know what I mean? Like I just can't imagine, and just seeing that growth for somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like but now I'm like excited about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's.
I think that was the most overwhelming thing for me at my wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. That's and they say I cried, but it was a few.
Hey,
it was raining in that.
Shout
building.
out to you and Natalie, man.
It was raining in that building, but but when I saw Natalie come down the aisle, it was like a surreal moment because it's like I'm actually doing. AJ is getting married.
Yeah.
And for that, it's just an unbelievable moment for me to see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it really does bring everything into
perspective.
Yeah, it really does because you for so long, you know, you talk of these things, you say these things, and that's with everybody, especially when you are goal oriented and when you're a go getter person. To see these things actually come to pass, I mean, it definitely does something to your heart that nobody can steal away. And man, I think the next would probably be, you know, seeing my child as well. You know what I'm saying? Coming to this world.
I was expecting?
No.
I ain't gonna put that out there then. I had to ask though.
Not breaking news yet.
Okay.
But we got a few more traveling to do. But yeah, I mean, you know, just seeing that, you know, that's definitely something. But I do want to ask you, you know, as far as like you saying being the best man, like is that something like why you say best man? You said that.
Cause there's just like I say, there's certain things, roles, and responsibility that like money can't buy. Yeah. Somebody to choose you as their best man, like it wasn't money that made them do that. You know what I mean? It was like time or like whatever it was, like where they like really needed you, like you were there. So that's just how I feel, man.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. I like that.
I
like that.
Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna flip the script, man. So like, I got one more question for you, and then it's your show. And then you the host. All right. And then I'm gonna let you run. So
Bet.
your house burning down. You can only grab 3 things. What would you grab?
Pictures. Well, hold on. First, my wife.
I would hope that you would grab her, but nah. Wife, she's outside safe. She's outside safe.
Everybody's outside
3
safe.
things.
Okay, so we're gonna go with pictures.
Got it.
And I guess my ring. And
you got that on?
Yeah, I mean I got it on, so
yeah,
I won't have to get it right.
Nah,
I don't usually sleep with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this with reluctancy, but I'm gonna still say it. My phone.
I feel it's a lot in that phone. Yeah,
there's pictures in that phone.
Got you.
I can't really think of anything else that would be more valuable to take. But yeah, my phone, my pictures, probably my computer, my laptop as well.
3 people to govern your life that you could choose.
Oh man, 3 people to govern my life. Anybody.
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Man, Mandela, Barack Obama, and you know what? I go ahead and bring Paul back from the grave too as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's AJ Washington in the Ladder podcast, man. So, like, every questions you want to ask me, like, you got the floor, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, hey, over here on the rebound, it's your boy AJ.
Yeah.
Start redirecting.
Let's go.
Redirecting the light towards my boy Jordan.
Let's go.
Now, Jordan, man. So I've been knowing you for a long time, right?
Yeah.
I think we met at Texas Tech when you was playing basketball out there.
2012 or something like that.
2012.
Yeah.
Basketball been a part of your life for a long time.
Yes.
What are some of the things in basketball that you see that a lot of people glorify, but it's really not? It's really not all that.
That's not all that. One thing people don't see is just the pain that's in it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, like, I would literally feel terrible. Like, I would feel awful. Mm-hmm. And I'm going out there, I'm like, man, I'm about to have a terrible game.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't. You know what I mean? So one thing that maybe just, okay, I'll say this, just everything that comes with it. So, like, at the highest level, I'm talking LeBron, all right? LeBron wake up, and he's hungry. He can't just go to IHOP like that. Like, you can't just go certain places. Even if you're overseas and people know who you are, like, just being tall. Like, I'm tall.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, every single day, AJ, somebody says something like, man, you tall. Like, every single day. They say, you play basketball. And I was always like, man, like, I don't want them to just say that, like, you play basketball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, man, you tall. Like, ain't you that guy from that show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want, and I also want guys, these are athletes. I also want athletes to just know, like, we got that competitive nature, right? And just like how you said, like, we can use that same competitive nature in the real world, in the corporate world, in anywhere. And, like, we don't have to be athletes.
Right.
We can. I really get it, and I love it. Like, we can, but, like, we can also be so much more. You know what I mean? And I was close to sacrificing. Like I told y'all, like I was close to just being done because, like, I felt like I was getting closer to my purpose.
Right.
And I still feel like I'm getting closer, man. So just,
I mean, it's definitely a stepping stone that you're just using.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it has put you in a box though?
Nah, just because, like, you certain events, like, you just get to meet so many people, and they're just in different walks of life, different industries, just different. You just get to meet so many different people being an athlete. But you can do that just by talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess the travel, like, sometimes travel just weighs on you. Just traveling, man. Like, sometimes that just wear on you.
Yeah. Now, because you came, I believe when I first met you, you was a lot quieter.
Yeah. Like, you know.
Yeah, you was a lot quieter.
That's true.
And I think you really, and when we first kind of like reconnected in Dallas, we started talking, I was like, wow, this is Jordan. It's nice to finally meet you after like 4 or 3 years. What do you think what brought that out?
Losing my dad.
Yeah.
Losing my dad. Just we would have certain times, man, like, he loved his cars. He loved cars and music and, like, sound and stuff like that. So our thing was, like, every Saturday, like, he would get up and he would want to go eat at Denny's. Yeah. Nobody else would want to get up, but I was like, all right, man, I'm going to go eat with him. That was, like, our one-on-one time, and that was, like, where we could just, like, talk, you know. So losing him was like, all right, man, like, I got to get all this stuff off my chest, and, like, I have to give other people access to me. Like you said, like, wow, this is Jordan. Like, I didn't know who I was back then, and that's not necessarily I didn't know who I was. Like, I wasn't as comfortable just, like, sharing everything with people. Yeah. But now I'm just like, I just don't know who need to hear this or who it's going to impact. So just whatever it is, I'm just going to say it. Put it out there because, like, I know, just like when you say things or things are said in the ladder or from whoever. Like I just like to listen to intelligent people.
Right.
And I like to listen to, like you said, you can listen to bad people,
Right.
and you can learn some good things about bad people that you shouldn't do.
Right.
But you just never know, like, who it's for, who it's going to impact.
Yeah. If there was something you can tell your father.
Man, woo. That I would tell him that I understand like why you were very strict on me. Discipline, I understood that. Like it got me to college. I graduated from college. It forced me to excel, and it was very easy. And that's a tough question. That's a good question. Just that I love him, man. Like I don't remember like many times where we just really like embraced. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I regret is just I just wish that I could like hug him. You know what I mean? And just be like, man, like I understand. Like I understand now, like why you did that. And I just wish that I could just tell him and just show him like all the things that I've done. Like, look, I'm doing this. And it just that it all made sense. Yeah. Everything that he was saying to me when I was just too stubborn to just realize like I guess it was one thing that I say is like the noise of it. So sometimes people get distracted by like the way a message is coming out and they miss the actual message. Right. Like black people, we like to cuss people out. You know, like people like to cuss you out.
The delivery, that strong
delivery. Yeah, sometimes our delivery is wrong to the point to where you could be giving them great advice, but the way that you're saying it is just turning them off. Right. So sometimes his delivery was wrong, but the message was always right. It's like our parents say, it was like they would never tell you no wrong, you know. But the delivery was sometimes what made me just like resistant or rebellious to what he was saying to me. But it all makes sense, Dad.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Do you think he's proud of you?
I would hope, man. But like I say, like. Well, if he ain't, he will be, because I ain't stopping. Yeah. Like I ain't stopping until I die, man. Like I'm not gonna end my pursuit of my purpose in life until I die. Right. Like people say they like that they want to like get to an age to where they retire. Like I don't. Right. Because it's just it's we have a little amount of time on this earth, and I just feel like it's so much to be done. Right. You know. Right. And I think a lot of the things that maybe not all of them, but some of the things that I have in my head, if I'm able to do it, then I'll be able to like impact a lot of people. Right. So I would hope that he is. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the moment, you know, where you realized that, you know, I had lost my father, but now it's time for me to, now essentially the things that my father taught me is on the inside of me. You know, I can't just pick up the phone and call him. So what do you think on the inside of you that you are exemplifying towards other people that stem from your father?
God, man. Yeah. Like, God, for whatever reason, like, he wasn't one to, like, throw a scripture at you or nothing like that, but he would get dressed every Sunday, like, clean. Every Sunday, suit, tie. We would go to church, and he wasn't necessarily explaining why, but, like, man, just the way that God has been working in my life is, I don't want to call it like weird or unexpected because it was always in me. I didn't recognize it. Right. And now that I do, like I just want other people to know, like God he has always been with you and he will never leave you. Yeah. Like the only person that could take themselves away from God is ourselves. And like our desires, and stuff like that. Yeah, just God, man, because he was, he did what he had to do to provide for us, but like he's a God-fearing man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. So I believe like you were at our finance.
That's the first one I came to.
Yeah, the first one you came to, man. That was a pretty. And then after that, you kind of just came to the Louder Men and everything. But you were just from overseas, and from there you was going to the
G League,
the Legends, and that nature. But in between that period, though, it was almost like you was getting closer to something outside of basketball.
Yeah.
Did you strike gold anywhere, or did you what do you feel like you was getting close to?
Let's see. Well, I just like speaking, AJ. I like speaking. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
Because somebody might want to know, like, man, like, I wonder how AJ thinks. You know what I mean? And like through this, now they probably know a little bit better about you.
Yeah.
You know, just like I like to travel. You know, but a message can travel to 1 billion people through all of these platforms that they have now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could speak to, like, we could speak to people and we could impact the small amount, like however many followers we have, we'll be able to impact them.
Yeah.
But if one person hear it of like our group and they can share it to we don't know how many people, and then like they're impacted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't know what it's gonna do to them. It could be a person that's like ready to end it right now.
Right.
And then they just gonna be on their phone like this, just
Yeah.
they gonna see it. They gonna be like, man, I think I know AJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Gonna click on there. They gonna hear you saying something. And they gonna tune in,
Right.
which is what's gonna like stop them for a second. They gonna tune in. They gonna be like, man, and it could literally like save a person's life, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I believe that.
Like I don't know. Like I felt like I could have easily just took the wrong path.
Yeah.
Like easily, and felt good about it. But I'm so glad that like I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like we all who think the right way, we can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like save them, but like if they straying a little bit this way, we could just like straighten them a little bit. Like, all right, just go a little bit this way. If I could just nudge you back this way from falling off that cliff,
Yeah.
that's a little bit.
What would you say your definition of success is then?
Let's see. A family, man. Like I do want to get married. I want to have kids. I guess definition of success. Yeah, family. Like I feel like whoever I align myself with, like to be my wife and to start that family, like I only plan on doing that once, and that'll be the biggest decision of my life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I do that right, family, because I mean that's really all you have. You obviously we have family outside of our family. We try to make it right within the family that we have.
And that's your own family. Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say that because family means a lot to you, especially when it comes from your dad and everything like that. Now, is there anything that, that you feel like you want to stay away from in the process of creating your family, especially when it comes to like basketball, things of that nature? It seems like you got a lot of options out there.
Nah, I don't feel like so. Like avoiding fear, like avoiding like just if you try to avoid bad things from happening, like they're gonna come right to your front door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like regardless of if I did try to like avoid things, like I'm gonna be faced with them regardless. So I would rather just expect them to happen, and then when they do happen, then I just work through it. Cause like we can always try to avoid the enemy and the devil, but like he's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like he's still gonna be there.
Right.
So anything that I would try to avoid. Nah, man. Like I'm shameless, bro. Like I'm unafraid.
Yeah.
Like, I try to be unafraid and just shameless about everything that I do and say. So nah, man. Like whatever is meant for me to encounter, like nah, just face it.
Yeah.
Head first.
Man, I appreciate you so much for speaking so highly about the latter.
Oh,
And
bro.
it's definitely something that it's a vision that I've tried to come to make it manifest
Yeah.
into the real world.
Yeah.
One of the things that we look at, especially when we come to the ladder, when you picture like the ladder, you always you're at one level.
Okay.
You're at a step. Everybody's on a step.
Okay.
In this ladder, in this process.
Okay.
Essentially, the goal is to go up always.
Got it.
And you can get mentorship from the people who are higher than you to get guidance on how to get to the next step. And there are people that are under you or that are below you
Yes.
that you can reach to and mentor and pull you up to the next step. In that ladder process, and guiding yourself up, what is things that you use to keep you going to the next level in life, even when it comes to even this basketball transition? Because I know your situation with the Legends and coming over into the situation that you're in now.
Yeah.
What are things that you use to stop you, to not let you have such a mental block when it comes to always progressing forward?
You know what I do, AJ? Like, I have to remove myself from it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to, some days you just gotta take yourself out of your norm. And for me, sometimes I would study Martin Luther King speeches. I would print them out, read them. I would just read. I love to just read on all different types of topics and stuff like that. I love great speakers and stuff like that. So sometimes I literally just remove myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just try to learn, bro. I try to learn as much about the things that mean or that are important to me, and then also just sometimes I just try to learn about just random things, because you just never know how it may, help you with something that you're dealing with in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And with coming in and just seeing that men type atmosphere, the latter men.
Yeah.
What are some of the things when you go to your next journey or when you go overseas next? I don't know. Is that shutdown news or is it
What?
You publicizing that?
Nah.
Oh, you good? Okay. Well, just going to your next. Your next.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you're going to take with you that you've learned from that latter man section? Something you just want to just kind of take with you.
Yeah, just that guys have to we gotta be strong when we have to be strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if we need to talk about some things I guess just always being available for teammates or whoever is there to just talk, or even if they don't want to talk, if they just want to go out and just get some steam, blow some steam, just being available for somebody and non-judgmental. You know what I mean? Because in sports, not everybody's not that wave. You know what I mean? Of just kind of how we get together in a group. It's not always like that in sports. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would obviously what I want to do, and we can talk about it. It's called post-career development, right? So you take these guys and just preparing for life. I know personally that a lot of people cannot speak, or they struggle. Not want to say they can't. They struggle with public speaking, and just give them some athletes some things to think about, scandals or difficult questions that you have to answer these difficult questions in your life. Shadowing people, so going into companies and seeing people who have careers and being able to go with them for a day or a week or a month and to see what that's like to really prepare you, because we don't, as athletes, we don't prepare for life after sports. We just, our whole head is make it to the league or that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is true, and I think that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Because you can be so consumed with what you've been doing.
Yeah.
That's almost like the story of the sinner, right?
Okay.
He's so used to doing the life that
True.
he's so used to that now when you become a Christian, it's almost like a completely different new life.
Yeah.
And excuse me, post basketball is definitely something that I think a lot of people, because what if you get hurt? What if you're not able to play as your talent is not as attractive anymore?
Yeah.
What is Jordan when that happened? When the ability are per se when the ability have been taken away?
Yeah. So one word that I want to coin that really describe me is like rebound. So the misses are just as important, if not more important, than the makes.
So that's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? So like
You have to be a sports fan to get that. That's yeah.
it's like Samson, bro. Like every time they tried to stop him, like he only got stronger. So if that does happen, like I'm only gonna be more powerful because now I have my full time to do and manifest like what I'm getting closer to knowing like what my purpose is. So like basketball is not my identity, bro. It's not who I am. It's just something that I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's what's up. That's good. And what would be next outside of basketball?
possibly like public speaking. I was supposed to go to Parkland and observe the prisons, and like through that I would have been able to become a therapist.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I kind of like want to be licensed in different things, and just to be able to go around and speak about mental health.
Yeah.
In different ways, like mental health for like performance.
Yeah.
Mental health therapy, like for whatever reasons, like mental health is like the start, and from there I feel like I'll kind of figure out more. But like I definitely want to go around like speaking about mental health, writing books and stuff like that.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's good, man. Man, I'm gonna ask you the same question. So
Let's go.
coming out of the house,
Yeah.
burning fire.
Yep.
What we taking with us? 3 things.
All right, so I got a lot of journals, yeah. So I'm gonna grab all them mugs and put them in a backpack.
That's a good one. I have some journals too.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yep.
need to
I don't
grab
want
those.
those things. I'm slowly transferring them to my laptop, but like
Yeah.
I want those.
Bro, Evernote is powerful, man.
Evernote?
Evernote.
What is that?
It's an app.
Okay.
Download it in its life.
Really? All right. Evernote. It's on Apple?
It's yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's called Evernote.
Evernote. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab them journals. Probably like my jerseys and stuff. Just to have.
It's all the way back.
Huh?
It's all the way back to high school.
All my jerseys, man. I blood, sweat, and tears, yo.
Yeah.
Like the good and the bad. Like I want them things. Some of them teams try not to give you a jersey after the season. Yeah?
Really?
Because they like to auction it off and sell it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Let's see the jerseys, and my grandma gave me this blue little knit pillow, and that's just like really important to me.
That's
Probably that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How old's your grandmother?
She killed me for this. Late 50s, 60s,
Oh, that's what's up.
something like that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul.
I love my grandma, man. She's like of that era of like the 70s, which I feel like I was born in, but
Yeah.
like I just had to grow up in the 90s. But like I love the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Outside of, and then just kind of what we've been speaking on, but
Yeah.
what would you say going now into your next season
Okay.
with the next team,
Yeah.
and somebody asks you to explain like the latter men or the latter period?
The latter period is, I think I wrote it on one of the comments as just like, when I go to this team, like I don't know who's on the team, right? But I know that there's something for me there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's something for me to take from this experience,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
So like with the ladder, like everybody is a step up the ladder, and everybody is a step of the ladder. So it's gonna be somebody that's there, that's like above me,
Right.
where I want to go, where I want to do, and it's gonna be somebody, or it may just be me, that's like below it, and I'll find out when I get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to like kind of like share that, like, yo, like it's somebody there that's where you want to be, and it's somebody that's trying to just get to where you at.
Yeah.
Like people tell me all the time, like JT, like you did a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, I feel like I ain't did nothing compared to like what I want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
just like having the ladder, bro, like hearing some of the things that like guys have already accomplished is like, wow. Like one, I know that it can be accomplished.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And two, just like I have living proof,
Right.
like a physical being is accomplishing and doing these things like right in front of me.
Yeah. Man, I want you to take this to overseas, bro.
Yeah.
You got to take Catch Me on a Rebound.
I'll see, man. I don't know like what's going on over there.
Man, you got to, man. You got social media, so you're already connected. You know
I
what
got
I'm
to
saying?
get rolling on the court first, man. Most importantly,
Yeah.
And then we'll
Most
see.
important, once you get that established.
Yeah.
But now, going back to, everybody got a story.
Okay.
I think that it's important that the story that you just got through saying, you said, the place that you were in, before the passing of your dad.
Yeah.
And then the place you were in when your dad was deceasing.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think that's, your healing story that's going to definitely be
Okay.
an instrumental part
Okay.
for the people you meet in your next season.
Got it.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you definitely can be a key player, not only to individuals that are, the stars. Because you'll be surprised how many people who others will look at and say, "You got everything."
Okay.
What is something that you need? Because
I see what you're saying.
And you'll be surprised how many people are looking for a story or something that they can connect to that will give them enough strength.
That's big time.
To carry on.
That's big time.
And it's good to see an extension of what God is doing in your life all the way in Dallas, Texas. It's good to see an extension of that to wherever you're going because you can bring that same light and say, hey, this is what I was taught when I was going through situations like this.
Right.
And you never know what somebody is going to interpret from you saying your story.
Yeah.
Or you never know what somebody is thinking on the inside when you are expressing the things that you have gone through.
Okay.
But when you are able to speak from that place, it begins something far more than money can ever put a price on.
Wow.
So I would encourage you to definitely try to take that with you on the court, even if this doesn't come in the locker room, preparing for games, outside of it, all of that, because, I really do believe that if we can get a hold of, the minds of men, particularly when it comes to, outside of the ladder and then the ladder man, but when it comes to, just a man, he can sometimes be so distracted by so many different types of oppressive things that the world try to put, on the man and the demand that they try to put on the man. And when you are in a locker room full of all this testosterone and all this ability, I have to show you my performance. Yeah. Just like we kind of discussed, your heart may not be where your performance is at. You may be performing at a level
That's deep.
that your heart is really not at. And you could just be playing basketball, but your heart is not in to basketball. And it's draining because you have to weigh out these two factors. My performance is what's paying me. That's what's keeping everything that I'm attached to alive. But my heart is slowly deceasing. And it's almost like, who am I if I can't tap into my heart in order to perform at this level? Ideally, we would want to perform at where our heart is at as well, because then we're not performing. We're in our purpose.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got AJ Washington in here, man, from the ladder.
Yes.
This has been Catch You on the Rebound. I want to say this, episode 9? Episode 9. I think we might cap it off at 10. We might go a few over, man. But thank you, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Yes.
And that's a wrap, yeah.